Is it better to spend state money on addressing homelessness or on kids' mental health? Dr. Barbara Ferrer on the growing crisis of health care bills too high to pay and what you need to know about the indictment from Atlanta. This is Inside the Issues. In the latest twist of the unprecedented and incredibly complicated legal saga involving former President Donald Trump, a grand jury in Georgia has returned 10 indictments. Welcome to Inside the Issues. I'm Alex Cohen. We just found out literally moments ago that there are 19 defendants named, including the former dean of the law school at Chapman University, John Eastman. All of these charges, of course, revolving around the 45th president's efforts to overturn his 2020 election defeat in Georgia. Donald Trump himself is among those named, bringing the indictment count on his personal front to 4. Our Washington correspondent Cassie Simeon has been following Donald Trump's legal troubles for us, and she joins us now live. Cassie, you are in the unique position. We just got to see this indictment moments ago. I know you're reading through and processing, but tell us what you're seeing there so far.
Well, biggest takeaway so far, Alex, is that this is 98 pages in length. We just got this, as you mentioned, as we were coming on the air, so we haven't been able to go through all of these charges just yet. But there are 19 defendants, including some well-known names such as Mark Meadows, Kenneth Chesebro, Jeffrey Clark, Jenna Ellis. We're looking at, Donald Trump, of course, but also, Rudy Giuliani is on this list. So 19 individuals in total. And what this looks like is a little different than what we've seen from other indictments of the former president, in the sense that this is reading more like a narrative because it is that racketeering charge, those RICO laws in Georgia. Experts I spoke to explained this allows the prosecutors to give the jury this in a narrative form rather than the list that we have seen of each single individual charge. But I want to backtrack a little bit to say how we've gotten to this point, Alex. So this case is focused on Trump's attempts to overturn his narrow 2020 election loss in Georgia, including a slate of fake electors, threats to election workers, and of course that phone call to Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger, where Trump asked him to find 11,780 votes to help overturn Joe Biden's victory in Georgia. The grand jury, as you mentioned, bringing back the indictment tonight. We don't know all of the charges since we just got this indictment, but we're going to be reading through this paperwork very closely. Let's look at some of the other legal woes facing Trump, though, at the moment. The first indictment against the former president came in the state of New York in early spring. A grand jury voted to indict Trump for hush money payments made to adult film star Stormy Daniels ahead of the 2016 election. A trial date has been set for March 2024 in that case. And then in June, special counsel Jack Smith brought charges pertaining to Trump's retention of classified documents after he left the White House, storing them at his Mar-a-Lago resort. A federal grand jury charging Trump with over 30 counts. Their expected timeline on that case is that the trial is set to begin in May 2024. And then 2 weeks ago, we got a third indictment from a federal grand jury in Washington, D.C. This was another case from special counsel Jack Smith pertaining to Trump's efforts to overturn the 2020 election. Trump was arraigned on charges of conspiracy to defraud the U.S., among others, and Jack Smith is asking for a trial date to start there. In that case, on January 2nd, 2024, that's just 13 days ahead of the Iowa caucuses. So it's going to be interesting to see whether Judge Tanya Chutkan, will move forward with that. She has said that she will move up the timeline to protect the legal process if former President Donald Trump does not stop posting or intimidating witnesses on his Truth Social platform. Trump has continued to maintain his innocence and has continued to attack everyone from Chutkan to special counsel Jack Smith, Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg, and Fulton County DA Fani Willis. What's important to note here, though, is that the New York case and in this Georgia case, these are charges against Trump through the state. And if it goes through the legal process and he's found guilty, Alex, he cannot pardon himself in this instance because they are state cases. Presidents only have the ability to pardon federal crimes. And Alex, all of these legal troubles have really done nothing to make a dent in his standing with GOP voters. Trump still has a commanding lead in the Republican primary, well outpacing the next closest candidate, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. So again, to recap what we know, 98-page indictment just brought down. We're looking at 19 defendants. We're going to be reading through this very closely, but a historic fourth indictment against the former president Donald Trump delivered by a Georgia grand jury tonight.
Thank you so much, Cassie. And some further notes on this. We are expecting in some short matter of time a press conference from the Fulton County DA. Cassie, we appreciate your reporting on this.